welcome to our 2020 Academy Award predictions. Third year straight year doing this. But unlike the last 2 years, no fights of fancy or anything like that, we're just going to get bare bones to it.
Like we did last year, we just did bare bones, because we did that.
Well, we did a nice dynamic shot at your place, but...
Yeah, well, but still, this is still about, how we normally do,
So we figured we go all non-fancy schmancy. We got our laptops here. We got our ballots here. He's already filled his out for the most part.
Well, a little bit. I've only selected the ones that we're going to be discussing as of today. For those who this is your first time with our Oscar nominations, like I said, we're going to go over, like I said, only about out of all of them, only about 11 of the, for us, that seemed like the heavy contenders, at least, pretty much for nominations.
Yeah.
We're going to go over visual effects, animated film, cinematography, original and adapted screenplays, supporting actor and actress, and then actor, actress, director, and then last but not least, best motion picture. So that's what we're gonna go over. Like I said, we're going over, for those who it's their first time, that's what we're gonna go over. So the first one, again, like he said, we're gonna start off with is diving into for best visual effects. So, the nominees, we can go back and forth if you want
Go
to,
on.
are Avengers Endgame,
The Irishman,
The Lion King,
1917.
and Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker.
So, let's be honest here. We were talking about this before we started recording.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be between the two sci-fi flicks.
Yeah.
Because Irishman mainly is getting nominated because of the young actor work they done.
Which, honestly, it didn't bother me. Because as you watch
it didn't bother me.
It's like, compared to the trailers you could tell full on. But as you're watching the movie, you don't really take notice of it anymore. It's like, it's blended in. You're watching it for so long that you're like, not even realizing, oh, okay, that's actually pretty, that's actually looking good.
The Lion King is an abomination of visual effects.
Yeah,
this entire film is visual effects. That's just...
Yeah, that's why it's like the Golden Globes, they made it more of best animated feature. I'm like, technically it is, because if you think about it.
Yeah, technically. That's like when we got Once Upon a Time got one for best comedy or musical, and then we went.
Now it makes sense of where the comedic side of it comes in at.
1917. Oh yeah, it's easily a lot of
the visuals itself is beautifully done. For the effects.
It's surprising that there's actually being nominated for best visual effects, because it doesn't really feel like
it doesn't. But you could tell where certain moments where it was. But it did. To me, it did a good job. It did an overall passable job, I think.
Yeah. Then after that, we got Star Wars. Which, let's be honest, it's fucking Star Wars. It's like with Avengers Endgame. It's like it relies 90% on its visuals.
Yeah, I think if you're looking for, like you said, it's like you're looking at more of what uses the visual effects more than the others, and these two are the ones that use it heavily.
Yes, so not counting Lion King, which just uses it.
But you know what I mean. But it's more heavy based of it.
Yeah, but this is one I'm split on, because I liked Avengers Endgame's visuals. They were very impressive. They had, that's the thing with Avengers Endgame, was a majority of its visual effects were literally in the final battle.
That's where you got a lot of it from. You still have it. You still had it throughout the film. You did have it, but it was it wasn't heavily used until the end game, pretty much at the very end of it.
But Star Wars used it better. I think Star Wars used it better throughout, to be honest.
I haven't seen Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker.
I have seen The Rise of Skywalker.
So I'm going off of what I remember from the other films that I've seen.
If you've seen a Star Wars film, it's pretty much that. Just a balance of visual effects and acting.
Now, what do you think of? You think that Star Wars did a better job compared to Avengers?
That's the problem I'm having, because Star Wars did fucking great. Visually. I'm not going to get my thoughts about it, but I think visually was still very impressive. Really impressive stuff. And then, because it's industrial light and magic, man. Those guys know know how to do it. They know. They are talented motherfuckers. And then you got Avengers Endgame, where it's like, it was good, but a lot of visual, like the heavy visual parts, the ones where we're supposed to be really impressed, weren't really fully utilized until the end. Well, Star Wars utilized it throughout because, well, it's fucking Star Wars. Mm-hmm. So, did any of the other Star Wars get nominated for Best Visuals?
I don't remember. I really don't know. I don't know if they did or not. I mean,
I'm gonna look it up.
I can look that up. I can look it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. I'm just stuck between those two. Like Irishman was good. The visual effects were good, but mainly it was the visual effects for their faces, and that was really it. I mean, it was impressive, but it's the same kind of like movie magic they used in all. Oh, I don't know, the MCU stuff. You know, that's all that was, and like.
Last year was for Solo, a Star Wars movie.
Did that win or did another one win?
I don't know. I'm not too sure. You can keep talking. I'll look that up here.
Yeah, because like, I don't know, man. I'm stuck between those two right now. I don't know. I'm leaning more towards Star Wars, to be honest. I'm gonna go BS if fucking Lion King gets it, because that's all that was a visual effect.
Yeah.
Oh, so
that's all you got from it in a way. It was just the visuals.
Yeah, so
one whole solid version of it, and it was just like, okay, yeah,
like okay, nothing much. So,
no, it did not win.
It didn't win.
It didn't win. It won. First Man won. That's the one with.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, definitely fucking deserved it. Yeah.
So I'm looking at it here, and just from the thoughts of it, I don't know. I'm still. I would have to go. Who are you going with?
Because I know, like, my heart says Star Wars, but my mind's like, those motherfuckers are gonna get the fucking Lion King and be so fucking pissed at it. Because Lion King, it was all CG. It was nothing but. And if it wins for Best Visual Effects, it's.
I don't know. I'm saying I'm gonna go with 1917, and the reason I say that is because, again, I think this film. There's films where they get a lot of nominations, but they're probably gonna win. I think I forgot which movie was it last year where they won a lot of technical awards.
Right.
And then while it may not have won Best Picture or this or that, I think it won on a best over technicality, and I think 1917 may take it because the way they did it. Because you have to realize. Visual is not only the effects that they did within it, but also look what they did visually to continue the move. I mean, I know it's a whole different category, but it's still technically visual effects.
Well, you can go with 1917. I think I'm gonna go with Star Wars.
I'm gonna go with 1917. I don't know. My gut's telling me it's gonna be 1917.
And let's not forget, they digitally inserted freaking Carrie Fisher into that movie. Really well done overall, too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going with Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. He's going with.
Yeah, I'm going with 1917 because it feels like it's really going to be on the technical side of awards for 1917. That's going to really dominate for it.
Yeah. So what's next?
So our next nomination is for animated feature film. So our nominees are. How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World.
Oh, I Lost My Body.
Yeah, you lost your brain too. There.
Shut up.
Was it Klaus or Klaus?
You could say Klaus. That's how they said it. Missing Link.
And Toy Story 4.
Now, in this category, once again, I've seen all the films I need to see for this category. AKA, I've seen all 5 films
He's seen
in the
all
last
5.
2 days.
I haven't seen, out of the 5, 2 of them I haven't seen. And that was for I Lost My Body and How to Train Your Dragon.
To be fair, you've only seen the first one and bits of the second one.
Yeah.
So,
even after seeing these nominations, I was looking at it going, the only thing I could see for How to Train Your Dragon was just more probably story purpose. That's about it. I mean, you've seen them all, so you could probably tell me on that part. I know my wife did see I Lost My Body. She said she thought it was weird, but she enjoyed it herself.
Yeah.
it was an enjoyable film, and you told me even then don't even read the description, just watch the film for I Lost My Body.
Yeah, when you get to that, I'll do that. I'll give you one for this. We'll each get one. You don't have to choose right now for one category.
Oh, I already chose pretty much for
animated?
For best animated, I've already chose.
You should really watch all of them before you go jumping on that bandwagon. But anyways, sorry. But I've seen all 5. God damn, man, I'm movie'd out, but like, there's a lot of good stuff here. I mean, I still don't get how Missing Link won for best anime at the Golden Globes. I thought it was a good film. I can understand like Leica still used like stop motion amazingly.
I think it's like I was saying to you before. I think it won just on the aspect of what went into it, of everything that went into it. I think the story was all right. The story wasn't like, oh my god, it was a phenomenal story. I think the story was just basic.
Yeah, in my honest opinion, Missing Link is the weakest of the animated feature nominees, in my opinion, because Klaus was freaking amazing. How to Train Your Dragon was a really good film.
Yeah. I Lost My Body.
I Lost My Body was really, like I said, you still need to see it, but it was a surprisingly really good film.
Yeah.
And Toy Story 4 was, well, it's Disney Pixar, so
it's
I don't know
Toy
what
Story 4.
I don't know what to tell you on that front.
Yeah,
so.
I know I think for you told me that you had it between Klaus and Toy Story 4.
Yes.
Because even when you told me your reaction towards Klaus, you were just amazed, not only by the animation, but just the story. Because like you told me, you were just like, for anybody who always grew up watching Christmas movies or different types of Christmas movies, you're like, even you told me, you're like, what was the last very, very good Christmas movie? That told a really good story from the heart, but still was lighthearted. It was still fun to watch and things like that. And you told me going, Klaus is just one of those very few that you got for many years.
Yeah.
That's what you're telling me.
Now, for me, I think Klaus and Toy Story 4, it's going to be between those two, in my opinion. However, I Lost My Body was surprisingly really good.
Yeah.
Like, it was such, I'm not spoiling anything, it was such a unique way of taking a, like, reuse to death concept to a different level, in my opinion. I thought it was very well done. Mm-hmm. That's why I even say I thought it was better than Missing Link, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because, like, by the end of it, I'm just like, wow.
Exactly.
It surprised the crap out of me. But when it comes to prediction, you can't think of your heart, you gotta think of your head. Yeah. So while my heart says something like Klaus and I Lost My Body deserve the win, my head says it's probably gonna be the safe bet. The safe bet is Toy Story 4.
Yeah, I think that's my...
Toy Story 4 is another great film. 4 films of the same franchise from Disney Pixar, and each one is its own kind of great.
And it is, and the thing is, I think did each one actually win an Oscar? Each, like Toy Story 1, 2, and 3, did they each win an Oscar? I don't even remember.
For what?
For best animated film, did each one win for best? I don't know. It's like
wasn't Toy Story like 2 up against like Shrek? I forgot.
I'll look it up, I don't know if they've won every single one for a Toy Story film.
But like, How to Train Your Dragon was good, but like, I don't know. It feels like if you really want to be fully attached to this film, you have to really have enjoyed the first 2 films. And I liked the first 2 films. Hell, I thought the third Hidden World was like the best of the 3. Not the best of the 3. Sorry, better than the second one at the very least. But it's one of those things where if it really feels whole if you've actually generally enjoyed the first 2 films, which I know a lot of people have.
Yeah.
But if you're not really as attached to them, but still kind of like them, and then go into the third one, I don't know if you're gonna feel the same way. It's a nice conclusion to the trilogy. It's a nice way of capping things off, and it was still a good heartfelt film.
Yeah.
But then you got like easily, I'd say that the 3 best of last year for animated feature was definitely like for anime was I Lost My Body, Klaus, and Toy Story 4. Because I think Klaus itself was absolutely amazing. I thought visually well done, great acting, a unique kind of take on an origin story for Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And easily, like I told him this before recording. One of the best freaking like Christmas movies in freaking years I can recall. Like,
wow, the first Toy Story one, they even win. It wasn't they even? I don't even think it was nominated for best animated. It was just best nominated for like screenplay and then.
Wait, when did they start giving out the best animated feature Academy Award
for these type of films?
Yeah, for best animated feature.
Oh my god, look this. Hang on.
I could have sworn I heard like Shrek won first year or something like that, or second year.
Well, I'll look here.
You know, but Klaus, like, visually amazing, acting well done, unique enough story to really capture you, and such a nice heartfelt message that if for a second I'm like, am I sure not watching a Disney Pixar film?
Yeah, exactly.
Part of me back then, I'm sure not watching a Disney Pixar film because it really hit home. And then you got something amazing like Toy Story 4, which is just like. It's fucking Toy Story on its fourth film from Disney Pixar.
And they still find a way to...
And they still find a way to deliver a really strong message. Like, the first one was being accepting of newcomers into the fold. The second one was all about always having somebody there to play with you.
Yeah.
No matter what. The third one was about accepting the fact that, you're moving on, pretty much. Was all about moving on. And then the fourth one was just about what's next. What do you do next when you've achieved everything already? When you've done all of this? When nobody needs you anymore? What do you do next? And I thought that was wonderfully told through the power of Pixar. With Toy Story 4, with Woody's journey through all these films. It was a nice way to, like with kind of the Hidden World way, it was nice to cap off Hiccup's story of Hidden World. Here it was nice to cap off Woody's story with Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
But it's Disney Pixar. Disney Pixar has to be the safe bet. I mean, geez, they came up with Incredibles 2, and Incredibles 2 was anticipated, but then it was like it didn't meet the hype like a lot of people wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
With Toy Story 4, it just met it. It was like it hit the mark they were going for, and it worked so well.
Nothing was even nominated for that year. They even had that nomination for best animated film for that year. I'm sorry, I'm looking back at 1990. It was when Toy Story first came out ever, and it was like I said at the time, there was no best animated. Yeah. All they had was short film animated, but not for best animated film. Yeah. I'm just looking it up. Sorry.
So. But I think in the long run, I'm definitely going to say Toy Story 4. Because like I said, it's Disney Pixar. They're like, honestly, I'm looking online, a lot of people's safe bets online is like Toy Story 4. Though they would like to see films like I Lost My Body or Klaus get the win.
And honestly, even for 2000, when they were for Toy Story 2, it was just for Best Original Song.
Yeah, so my bet's going to be on Toy Story 4. Obviously, my brother's is so.
Yeah, it's gonna be that just because they even though there are times when their sequels are not so good, they find a way for Toy Story to have that heartfelt pull on your heartstrings type of film where they find a way to where it's like they make the story still unique and original in its own way.
4 movies and a whole bunch of specials in, yeah.
Exactly, and it's fantastic how far along they've come here. They won for the third one. I think it was the third one. They won for best animated features. That's when they kicked it in. The last one they won for Academy Award.
So yeah, my money's gonna be on Toy Story 4.
Yeah, same here. Toy Story 4, hands down.
My heart says Klaus, but my head says Toy Story 4.
Yeah, I think I'm the same way because like you said, when I watched Klaus, I was just like, am I overreacting? Because I'm sitting there going, holy crap, this is a great Christmas film. And like I said, that's why I'm like, he's got to watch it. It's like and when you told me that, I'm like, oh my god, thank you. Because it's like, is that good of a Christmas? Because I'm like, I wasn't expecting it to be this good. I was working on editing videos as I'm watching this with my wife, and it just took me away from it. And I was like, you know what? Let me just focus on this.
And then before we go to the next one, like I said, please watch I Lost My Body. Please, it's on Netflix. A lot of people, everybody has Netflix. Watch. It's a French film, so there is subtitles, but please watch it. It is a very unique and creative take on a animated film. It's honestly, I know they have all these anime films have deeper messages, but I Lost My Body has definitely more of the adult message, and a bit visually adult message as well. So definitely recommend you guys check out I Lost My Body more than anything. So next up is best
cinematography.
Yes. Cinematography. I always forget what cinematography means, but it's basically how the film was filmed.
Pretty much how it was shot. You know, the angles, how it was, how the camera movements, things like that. But let's look at the nominations.
It's overall.
So let's look at.
I'll go first. The Irishman.
Joker.
The Lighthouse.
1917.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, add those dots.
The ellipses. Sorry.
Yeah, the dots.
Boy. So you got The Irishman, Scorsese. You got Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Tarantino. Both know how to work a camera.
Oh yeah.
Then you got Joker, which
it was all right. I like where they took it, but it wasn't like, oh my god type of cinematography.
Sadly, I still haven't seen The Lighthouse.
I haven't seen it either.
I have The Lighthouse.
I have it too, but I haven't seen it just yet.
And
the way they shot it though
was like they did black and white 4:3, and
they really wanted to give you that effect of like watching an old time type of film.
And for me personally, my most liked picks would be 1917.
I think same here, and the reason I say that is because
that scene where he's running through the fucking destroyed town,
and
it's just beautifully fucking done.
And for me, what it is that if you notice that the Academy Awards, they love those films.
Yeah.
Like was it Birdman? They love those films where that feeling of it's one solid shot throughout the whole film. And they love that. That's what really draws them into grabbing it as for best picture or best for even for cinematography. That's what really those are the films they love. And to me, this is gonna win overall, hands down, for 1917, because when we got to see it in theaters ourselves, we're sitting here just in awe of how they did this. And you watch, I have to show you the video because even on YouTube, there's a behind the scenes pretty much from Insider, and they show how they did this, everything they put together for this film, and you're just like, yeah, this film's gonna win on a lot of technicality awards, and this is one of them. And like I said, it's just phenomenal what they did and what they put together for this film, and it's to me, 1917 deserves it. I mean, there's so much work and effort put into this, and just from visually itself, as you're watching it, you really feel like you're just this person tagging along with these characters, and you're just following along just to see, okay, what's gonna happen next, what's happening. Because I gotta admit, there's certain moments where I had us like jump, literally, just like leap out of our seats. We're like, oh crap, because it's like the suspense that they do with it. And if you notice too, is that the camera's not really moving. Well, it does at certain times, but you're not moving backwards with them. They're not going back. No, you're fully moving forward. And even when it feels like you're moving backwards, it's just the camera kind of shifting around them. That's it. That's all it is. You're following them through this journey. But like I said, don't get me wrong.
Honestly, it's probably, when we're gonna line, it's probably gonna be between The Lighthouse and 1917. And yes, one thing I just read is like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has like a guy who's being nominated for this 10th award for best cinematography. Yeah. He's a veteran for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And you can tell
because even in Once Upon a Time, there's certain shots where you're just like, wow, that is beautifully shot. The way they did that was really good, especially when they had to shoot some of the like behind the scenes shots for the film Leo was shooting in the film.
Exactly.
It's like you felt it, where it's like you really felt that's what Hollywood was like, and you really felt that's how it was changing, and especially when they showed some of the original, some of the footage they did was fantastic. Especially like the scene where you see Leo as if he was in that military film. Yeah. The way they shot it was so very good, where you like, it really felt like, shit, that's Leo back in the day.
That's Leo back in the day.
That's him. That's actually him, But like I said, Once Upon a Time, to me it was good, but it was like the cinematography wasn't really stand out. Like I said, cinematography, I think I have to agree, is between, actually no, for me, it has to be with Joker. And the reason I say that is just because of, I guess, the color palette. As you're going through certain things, I know like on Honest Trailers, like, oh, there's like a lot of yellow, but there's certain scenes where the cinematography kicks in where just the way they did the scene, the color palette of that scene, it fairly set that mood of what's going on, what's happening. And that, to me, that's what really stood out overall. And I think for me personally, it's between 1917 and Joker. And I could be wrong completely. Everybody has their honest opinions. But for
me personally, the only one that really captured what it really meant to just... I mean, you gotta remember too, in 1917, this was a total film, like story-wise, this was like half a day. It was like roughly like half a day, like a whole day.
Yeah, the way it's shot, it's supposed to be meant to be like almost like you said, like 12 hours almost. We're following these characters.
Yeah. So, and it's impressive what they've done, what they did with it. With this whole one shot, shooting one shot, I found impressive. Like I said, the fucking scene where he's running through the destroyed town.
Like I said, when you see behind the scenes of what they did behind for that one moment, it's phenomenal what they did with it. It's like you're like, oh my god, holy crap!
I can see why Joker would probably win it. I can see why pretty much maybe except for the Irishman, I can see why the others will win it. Because like I said, Once on Time has a veteran cinematographer on, and cinematography in that was well done because it was really cool how they did it because it wasn't even just one story. It was like, this is the main story. Here's the show story here, and they implanted them so well as all the Sharon Tate stuff as well. Yeah. Because there was just enough Sharon Tate stuff to make you understand why she matters to the story. Because then by the end, without spoiling anything, you can see why she's so important to the story. Yeah, because
she was originally supposed to be,
and why it was
spoilers, of course.
Well, I'm trying not to get into spoilers, but spliced throughout.
It's like you see, I see where you're going with it. It's like you see where it's like at a certain point where it's like, now I see what's going on. For those who don't know the historical matter behind it,
and sometimes if the cut feels abrupt, like when he's talking about the acid-soaked cigarette, and then shows a quick flashback of when he bought it from that girl, or he does do his quick like when. Oh, a good example, when they're talking about how he was up for the role in The Great Escape. Yeah. When he was talking to Timothy Olyphant's character about The Great Escape, and any time they brought it up, the music would start, cut to a shot of him trying out for the role.
Yeah,
cut back to him talking about more, cut to another shot to him in the role.
Especially with Cliff, pretty much, the stunt guy. It's like certain things of why is he in this position. We go back to this certain moment in time where he may have, those rumors are swirling around him. And then another time where it's like, okay, he's on the set, but then something happened, and it's like you see where he's at, why he's there. Those abrupt moments, it's like you're like, okay, it's like that quick comma in a sentence where it's like, this is why, and then go right back to this is where he's at.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It was a comma scene.
That's what it was. It was just a comma scene where it's like, and then going right back into it. But like I said, we can see why the others were nominated. Why?
Because honestly, all of these deserve to win. Yeah. In my opinion, all of them were.
But the one that stands out the most, though, is 1917. Because, like I said, if you haven't seen the film, again, watch the film. You see what we mean. It's just that you feel like you're just going along with this journey with them, and you just feel like just the way it's shot. You're like, holy crap! It's like it feels like you're like one full shot throughout the whole film. But you could tell. There's certain times you could tell where they cut it. There are times where you can see where they cut it, but even then. It's like it's still a solid flowing moment, but like I said, that's our pick for best cinematography.
Once again, for me, I'm gonna say this: my heart says 1917, my head says 1917. So they're in agreement there. But I would love, I acknowledge The Lighthouse and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as well. Even The Irishman. It's a Scorsese mob flick, so you already know going into how it's gonna be like. What the cinematography is gonna be. Yeah. But I'm going to go with 1917 for myself. Yeah. 1917. It's the one film where you want to go, run, white boy, run.
Run, white boy, run, run. Best Original Screenplay. The nominees are Knives Out,
Marriage Story,
1917,
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Parasite. This was a complicated
Okay,
one.
so
This was
let's
first...
be honest. Let's break this down. Knives Out, really good murder mystery.
Oh my
Marriage
God.
Story, really good. A really good reason why divorce is really fucking complicated.
Yes.
1917, war fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Here's why.
Here's why.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is like, this is what Hollywood was like then.
This is like a fairy tale for Hollywood. You know, during its ending, during ending of one generation and beginning of a new.
Parasite, rich people suck.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Overall, it was very difficult because these were all great films. It was very difficult, to be honest. It was really hard. To be honest, I think the weakest one I would have to admit, I hate to say it, but is 1917. And
why would you say that?
I would say that only because it's like we have the. Don't get me wrong. We
I mean, technically should be in the adapted section because it is loosely based off of stories.
But
Sam Mendes's grandfather.
But loosely, it's not being adapted from like a magazine or a book. It's just from hearsay. That's what it is.
Okay.
That's what it is, and that's what's going by. And it's just the main plot of it. Of course, it's just get to point A to point B, and then we have like the little things in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, all right, but it's like, I think why I see why I got nominated only because the stuff in the middle, it's really going off of, okay, this is what we're going off of. We're going off of, maybe these characters' background and what they're coming from, and or understand their story, what they have to do to survive and things like that, and I think that's why it's nominated. But to me, it's the weakest though. The others though, they really stand out. They really do stand out the most. I can start off with Knives Out. Knives Out, it's a murder mystery, but you're sitting there going, there are so many twists and turns that literally have you at the edge of the seat. Me and my wife were watching this. We were sitting here going, okay, who did it?
Okay,
now
go ahead. I know you're talking about Knives Out,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
but here's why I think it may not win.
Yeah.
Because it is a really good murder mystery.
It is.
You don't get a lot of those really good Agatha Christie style murder mysteries nowadays anymore. It's a lot of thrillers, dramas, and it's building up to, oh, that's who did it. Here, it harkens back to the times.
The original type of like murder mysteries.
Of like
back in the day.
Poirot, Sherlock Holmes, like all those murder mysteries we really enjoyed.
Hell, Clue.
Fucking, it gave you Clue vibes, didn't it?
Clue. It really did. It was quite literally a whodunit type of situation.
But the thing is, it deserves the nomination. I will give it that. But I don't think it's winning because it didn't feel like Academy Award winning. It was an amazing screenplay, and it really
stood out. Don't get it wrong. I know what you're saying. It really stood out, but it didn't feel Academy Award winning type of.
I mean, I can understand why it's nominated. Because like I said, it's a fantastic murder mystery, but that's all it really is. It's a really good murder mystery, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And you still look. You got stuff like Marriage Story, which is in itself a complex story about how complex fucking divorcing is.
Yeah,
you got 1917, which I don't know, may win out. But 1917 was a simple story, but a simple story told efficiently.
Yeah.
Sure, it's a very basic story, but add on to honestly, I'm saying out loud, I don't think 1917 may win because story-wise, it's simple, but what really carries the film is everything else about the film.
That's why I said more technicality.
The visual effects, the acting,
and that's why I said for 1917, it's going to be a lot of technical awards. I don't think it's going to win like this one. I don't think it's going to win it. Only because, but I see why it got nominated though. But I don't see it wasn't that strong enough for me personally.
Then you got Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's like this is Hollywood. This is what Hollywood was in the late '60s. This is what it was, and the screenplay embodied that beautifully with Leo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt's characters.
Yeah.
And then you got Parasite.
Parasite is good. Don't get us wrong. Parasite, to me personally, it was really strong, but it's something that you can say you kind of seen before, but it's just the way he told it is what really captured it.
Yeah. And right now, a lot of people are saying online that it's between like Once Upon a Time, Marriage Story, and Parasite.
Yeah.
Which I would have to agree, because Marriage Story just
Marriage Story, it really dives in the psyche of what a family goes through, or at least a husband and a wife pretty much go through with a marriage, where it's like they especially for a marriage like this, where there's like,
are we married?
No, you know what I mean.
Okay.
A marriage like this in the film where they love each other, they do truly love each other, but it's just like it's falling apart. It's like they're falling apart.
Yeah.
That love isn't there. That love wasn't as strong as it was in the beginning. So it's like they still have that love, that care, and things like that. But it's like this type of marriage where it's like it's gonna get hard. You're gonna hit those low blows, or you're gonna hit those blows where it's like it really doesn't do much, but you're like you really have to do whatever it does to survive, to fight, to take on this. And that's what really this dives right into. And that's why this really hits home for a lot of people who've dealt with divorce in their family, or have dealt with stuff like this in their family, and they know that feeling. And I see why this really stood out as an original screenplay, because it really stands out of like, wow, okay, I see where this is coming from. I'm gonna go to Parasite next instead of because Parasite, I think, like you said, I think Parasite is good. It's just that you've seen it before, but I guess what it is that what's really capturing is more visually. I think more of how it was shot, the way it was put together, I think, was really good. But I think the story itself, we've seen done before. I think what really stood out for is just the way how it was being told. The way they were telling it, which was really unique in a way where you understood the name of the film.
Yeah, Parasite. Yeah, I'm reading comment here. It's a story of this class issues in society.
Yeah, that's what this was.
You got a family who's struggling to make ends meet. Then you got the family who's not struggling at all, who find life to be they're blissfully unaware of how troubling everybody else's lives
it's
are.
Like there's a hiccup that happens, but then to them, a hiccup for the lower class is something major, but for them it's like, oh, okay, we'll just wipe it away and just keep moving forward.
It's really difficult because I thought Parasite was good.
Yeah.
It got overhyped for me, so I think Parasite was good.
For me, what really stood out, I can tell you right now, my pick overall, and that is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And the reason I say that is because he grabbed, like something that everybody knew of. He really grabbed, something, a major hit in Hollywood during that time period, and what really shook Hollywood. But he grabbed it, but then he really he told his own unique story. He told a fairy tale of like something that was transitioning in Hollywood, and of one age into a new age.
Yeah, I would have to go Marriage Story. To be honest, it really. I mean, you look at it, and honestly, part of me was taking like Adam Driver's character side. Like I know, like spoilers. I guess minor spoilers for that. Like the guy was cheating. Like he had an affair, pretty much. He's not perfect, and she looks great. But then like
they were both.
But the thing is, in the long run, both of them have their faults. Both of them are human. Both of them can't be perfect for one another.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it work so well, because neither of them originally wanted to use lawyers and or anything like that. Then it just automatically they were told, hey, you need lawyers. So like they're like, oh, okay, I guess we'll need lawyers. Yeah. And then he gets a better lawyer. It's like, well, I guess he needs a better lawyer.
Realized it's the type of thing where he realized that it's like she's going big, and he was trying to go basic and simple, but it's like even basic and simple, even though basic and simple was trying to warn him that this will affect you. He had the warnings in front of him, but he didn't take the warnings. He's like, he realized he had to go big as well.
And even shows by the long run, like, they're divorced. Yeah, spoiler, they divorced.
Yeah,
that's the whole premise of the film. But they're still like fine with each other.
And they still circle.
Yeah, they still know in the long run they're gonna be there for each other, and
And
not just for their kid.
Yeah.
But it's just they understand why it didn't work out marriage wise with them.
And what I really liked about it is that how in the beginning how it started and how it came full circle by the end of it.
I think that's why, because it felt out of all the ones nominated for Screenplay, Marriage Story.
And for me, like I said, for me, what stood out was Once Upon a Time, and the reason again back to what I was saying is that it really captured what Hollywood was like during that time, but also what a lot of people didn't realize at the time is that because I watched an interview with Quentin Tarantino, and even he's like he remembers like back in the day that a lot of actors hung out with their stunt people. Back in the day, they used to hang out because it's like they're embodying them, so they had to be friends, they had to be close and stuff like that. And it's like he grabbed that and he was like, "That's a great idea. A lot of people don't know about this." Back in the day, it's like he really captured what they went through. Even as a rising from what some people are going through right now, which is like seeing these small time actors who worked on television are really trying to push to make it big into the big screen, the big times, and they're doing whatever it takes.
Then when it comes to Parasite, it's about class society, and in the long run with that, like a Marriage Story, there really isn't a winner.
Yeah,
there really isn't a winner. The lower class family was taking advantage of the higher class family. Yeah, that's not right. But then again, you can understand why they're doing it. Then you have the higher class family who they haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah.
It's just the way the lower class family sees it is they're blissfully unaware of the outside world. They're more about their own first world problems than anybody else in the world. They insult the guy's smell.
Yeah, every time.
It's like I guess minor spoiler. It's like it's minor spoiler. That's why that scene at the end happens the way it does. Pretty much, it's because he looks the rich guy looked down upon.
Yeah.
Like the poorer person, and I think that's why a lot of people love this film. Is it's a very unique way of showing the classes in our nowadays society, and it's weird. And that front, I can see why Parasite is one of the top contenders for best original screenplay. But for me personally, it didn't hit me as much as it did Marriage Story.
Yeah.
Marriage Story, I could see that. I could see the emotions. I think what helped bring out the screenplay the most was Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson's performances in that film. Because on paper, yes, this sounds terrible, what's going through these people. They're only human beings who just want to, break things off. Mm-hmm. But when you see it in film, when it's transferred through ScarJo and Kylo Ren, then you get, the fucking scene in his house, in his place in LA, pretty much, where he just admits, he wishes she was dead. You could feel that scene.
Yeah.
We watched that clip before we even saw the movie. We know you could feel that scene, and I think that's why I'm going with Marriage Story because it just.
And like I said, all respect. I mean, like I said. I enjoy. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I enjoyed it. It is very powerful. It had me choked up because it's like for those who've gone through it or have gone through it or have seen it, it's like it gets very emotional.
So that's weird. Neither of us went with Parasite, which is I believe the odds-on favorite right now.
I believe so too as well. But like I said, for me, that's why I went with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And that, like I said, it's just for me, it's its own fairy tale for Hollywood. It's his own take of like what people have envisioned what Hollywood was, and what things could change and things could have gone a different route if they would have done this or would have done that. And he did a good job telling the story, especially going back and forth between these two types of stories, these multiple stories where he went back and forth, but their connection to one another is far beyond the reach. And just the way he did everything, the way he told these two actors, the stunt guy and actors friendship. It's like, especially this actor who's he's trying to make it in Hollywood. He's trying to do whatever it takes, and he doesn't want to be remembered. And to me, it's like a throwback to perfect example is Bruce Willis. It's like when people saw him as John McClane in the first Die Hard movie, people laughed. because you're like, oh, this comedic actor, this guy, because it's like no one ever saw him as being a serious action star, you know, and that's where to me this goes back to it where it's like him, you know, for an actor just try, you know, a regular TV actor trying to make it big in film, and even he was warned even by Al Pacino's character in it where he's just like, you're being used in these cameos and stuff like that, and you don't realize you're becoming, you know, that's when you realize is I'm a has-been. I'm a nobody anymore. You know, I used to be a big TV star, but you know, but just now I'm just cameos. And to me, that's really captured what Hollywood is nowadays. So just them trying to fight to take that top now, you know, to take that, to bump up themselves into a career. To seeing an actor go from a TV star to a movie star, you know, and it's just that transition, and I love how he tells it. It's beautifully done, and like I said, that's why I chose my choice for, like I said, for best original screenplay for Once Upon a Time. So in Hollywood, and like I said, that's we'll see. Like I said, we'll see. It could go either route, or it could both be wrong, and it could go with a Parasite. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like I said, to me, like I said, I like when we're not on the same page because it's like we have our own personal reasons why we're going for these type of nominations. But
right.
yeah, I mean. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah.
So
all right, on to the next one, which is for adapted screenplay.
Of course, these are ones that are based off of either a book, a tale, a true story, or somebody actually came up with the story themselves, and their story's being adapted.
Yeah, well, story.
I have to explain because Jojo Rabbit's nominated,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wait, how is that nominated for adapted?
Yeah.
But okay,
this one I'm stuck on. I'm still like stumped on.
The nominees
for the nominees. The first one, Irishman,
Jojo Rabbit,
Joker,
Little Women,
The Two Popes.
Okay, so adapted. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Irishman adapted by off the book named I think it's called I Heard You Paint Houses. That's what it's called. The book it's based off of.
Yeah.
Of course, Joker is being adapted from the comic book Joker itself. Not any specific story, but it's Joker himself.
Yeah.
Little Women, of course, by the ever popular Jane. I believe. Damn it.
It's not. Is it?
Let me look it up. I know this. If I don't get this right, my wife will kill me because she's a huge fan of this story. And you guys be already commenting down below. By Louisa Alcott, pretty much her story, Little Women.
Yes.
You know, Louisa May Alcott, and then The Two Popes, which is actually based off an actual play.
Yes.
Which the play we're kind of reiterating the actual meeting between them.
It was adapted. Yeah,
it was adapted. You know, so that's what he said. So it's like it was like a double adaptation for there.
Yeah.
You know, that's what that was there. Jojo Rabbit. What was it? You're saying that was actually?
I believe it's based off a story that Taika Waititi came up with. I can't find anything on it.
I mean, go over what you. I'll try to look at this up here.
This one's difficult because like apparently a lot of people are saying like JoJo and Little Women are like the top runners.
Two, yeah.
The top runners for it. And I can see why. JoJo is a very well done story about like it's a coming of age story set in Nazi occupied Germany.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the kid learns so much throughout without really realizing it until the end.
It's based off of a book by Christine Lunen's Caging Skies.
Okay. So sorry for the link there. Just still looking up some stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess a lot of people are surprised. The biggest snub for this one people are with is Ford vs Ferrari not getting nominated.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was a good film.
It was good, but I think what the problem was, the adaptation is that, which we all understand, is like a lot of changes have to be made to help it tell the film. Because I watched a documentary on like She'll Be American on Netflix. Check it out; it's really good. And just to hearing what actually went down, you understand going, okay, so I see where they did a lot of changes to help tell the story. I think it was very difficult. I think these ones were selected because they were as close as you're going to get to the original source material.
Now, Little Women, I'll be honest. I'm in the minority who thought I thought it was good.
Yeah,
That's it. I thought it was good.
I look at it and I enjoy it. I've watched different versions with my wife because she likes different versions of it. She likes watching to see. I think what really stood out for it for me, even in the story itself, is that they changed it up. Usually we start off from the very beginning. Here we're starting off at like the end point, but we're going back to flashbacks of the actual story, going back and forth and seeing, I guess, relating to certain things. And I thought that was unique because even I was sitting there, my wife was sitting there going, wait, why are they starting here? Even she's like, this is like halfway through or even near the end of the book. Why are they doing this? I'm like, really? You know, I'm like, it's been a while since I've seen a Little Women film. And she's like, yeah, they're starting this at a different point in the book. Why are they doing? And that's when, as we're watching, what really made it unique is just that it went back. It went back and forth. I saw what they did there, and it was different. Don't get me wrong. They tried to make it different, and it was still good. And I see why it got nominated because it's just how they made it their own for Little Women.
Okay, that's great. That's not my pick. I know that's not my pick, but like.
I know that. I'm just stating because we're not. That was just one of the nominations and why it was probably nominated.
I only haven't seen one of the films nominated, and that's Two Popes.
I've seen them all.
Yeah, great for you. I think let's see. This is difficult. I really did like Jojo Rabbit. I really did.
I did too.
It was a very fun, unique story that just worked for me in the long run. The Irishman was good. It was long, but it was good and definitely told its own story. I say told its own story because I think some people are saying like some parts are definitely not based off of what actually happened, which I'm like,
yeah, but they're basing it off the books. Even the book, it's like it doesn't. It's going off of his sayings, pretty much.
Honestly, it's gonna be Jojo Rabbit for me. It's. I feel like this one was supposed to be difficult, but it's not because I feel like Jojo Rabbit provided such a unique take on a coming of age story that I fell in love with it. It was like it was funny. And it still was heartfelt by the end of it, and it really did make you think throughout all of it. Like, you know, that like this kid was just trying to find something because like he had nobody. He really had nobody because his father was gone off to war.
Yeah.
All he had was his mother. His best friend, his only real friend was like in the Nazi youth group.
Yeah.
So like. And that's what you learned by the end of it was that he didn't need Hitler as an imaginary friend. Yes, this is that kind of movie. To really be his own person or really find out who he really is. Because by the longer he goes, you know, he is who he says he is. You know, and that's something his mom, you know, was trying to always tell him.
Yeah.
You know, and she, even by the end, she was just trying to make him realize that.
That's true. I mean, for me, it's really tough for me, I'll be honest. To look at the other nominees, I mean, Joker, to me, it was just more of they adapted the character. It wasn't really based off of any type of actual Joker story. To me, it was just I think for me I think that's the flaw with this nomination here for Joker is that it's just based off a character. That's all. It's not being based off an actual specific story. You know, I mean, if anything, like they said. That it being, you know, some people compare it to that other, what's the name of the film with, what's his face, golly, I forgot his name, but Robert De Niro, that other film, that comedian film that everyone's comparing this film to. I mean, if anything, it was being adapted closely to that, but.
The King of Comedy.
The King of Comedy, thank you. That one's being more, but here for Joker, I don't think it's not. I think it's I think it's at the bottom along with the Two Popes.
Honestly, yeah, I think I watched a review of Joker yesterday, and someone made a good point. It's like it barely etches out being a perfect Joker, barely etches out being a perfect film because for some reason somebody thought it still needed to be a comic book movie. Instead of just being its own thing, something like what King of Comedy was, something like what Taxi Driver was.
And I think that's where, like I said, I saw another person's reaction to it. Even they kind of said the same thing, where it's like it really felt like it's like if they didn't have that like the whole, it felt like it was really added, tagged on with the whole Bruce Wayne's parents dying. It's like if they didn't tack that on, I think it would have still been a great film. I think it would have been taken away from. Oh, okay, this is taken away from the whole comic side of things.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
I can still see Little Women because like it is being the adaptation was written by Greta Gerwig, pretty much.
Gerwig, yeah.
Same lady who directed and wrote Lady Bird, pretty much.
The Two Popes, it was good, and like I said, it's based off a play when they met. What was really interesting, I think, for it is that even on the play itself, they don't know what they really said to one another in this meeting with one another. They're going off of letters that they wrote to each other, and then they're trying to adapt that to what they probably would have been like together. And I thought it was good. I really did, but it wasn't strong enough to me to where it was just like, okay, you're just going off a hearsay of what you think may be going off of, even on the play, what's going off of, things like that.
So, but for me though, it's gonna be Jojo Rabbit.
For me, it's like I said, I think it's between the three. It's between Little Women, Jojo Rabbit, and Irishman, and I think I'm gonna have to go with Irishman. And the reason I go with Irishman is only because I sit there as I'm watching it, and I'm like, following along the story here. To me, it's like if you ignore the fact that a lot, not everything was, like they say is factually true. It's going off of the book itself, and it feels like the book. It feels like it's going over the life of a gangster. Mm-hmm. His beginnings and how he survives through it, and just how he gets up to this point in the end, where he's still stuck to his code. He's still stuck to, I'm not gonna give up on this. I'm not gonna, it's like I am a good person. I did things to survive in the world I lived in. I had to survive, and I loved it. It really just dived into the mind of a mafia gangster, or just overall gangster. Just living through this life and living through it, and just the survivability of what it took for somebody like this to get to where he, up to his end.
So you're gonna go with the Irishman?
I'm thinking I'm gonna go with the Irishman only because of that. It's because I just love how they adapted, just telling the story of somebody just from the beginning to the end, the beginning through his life, and just what he had to go, especially with his family and his daughter and things like that. Just his daughters, what he had to do to make sure he protected them, but at the same time, there's a lot of sacrifice he had to do. And I loved it, and that's what I loved about the Irishman, and just the story they adapted from it. What they were trying to say. But like I said, that's the reason why, I went with the Irishman. For this nomination, I really enjoyed it. I loved it, and I hope it does win for adapted screenplay.
And of course, I chose Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah. So, on to the next one. And on to the next nomination, nominees for the next category, and that is, we're diving into actress in a supporting role.
And the nominees are, 1 sec. Sorry, disclaimer, I always double search before we get started. Actress in a supporting role: Kathy Bates, Richard Jewell;
Laura Dern, Marriage Story;
Scarlett Johansson, Jojo Rabbit;
Florence Pugh, Little Women;
Margot Robbie, Bombshell.
Yeah. So I think out of all of them, the only one I did not see was Richard Jewell.
I didn't see Richard Jewell or Bombshell.
Yeah.
It's really difficult because Scarlett Johansson nominated for this and for actress in a leading role, and it's difficult because
both of them were good.
She did great in both.
Yeah.
Because with Jojo Rabbit, she plays the mother to Jojo.
Yeah.
And she does such a great job because she's so against the war, so against Nazi, but her son's a part of it, so she's doing the best she can with what she got. And Scarlett Johansson portrays that beautifully. I think easily the best scene she has.
Even though when overprotective child too, trying to kicking the guy, hitting the guy, going watch over my son. She's that overprotective with him.
Oh, I got a German Shepherd joke, but German Shepherd joke. No, easily the best scene for me from her for that one is when she's mimicking her husband that's not there, trying to get her son happy again, and stuff like that. She does such a great job at that. Laura Dern is the perfect portrayal of a lawyer.
What I liked about her role...
She will cat and claw your face off until she wins.
What I liked about her role in this is that there are times when you understood her, where she's like, shit, she's right. You know, you took her side, but there are times when you're like, God damn, she's a bitch. You know, it's like she did a well-balanced version of it, to me, honestly. She really balanced of what, you know, what this type of lawyer is. He tried to support them, but also tell them he's a dick, or she's a dick, or he's a dick, you know, type of person. As a lawyer, you know, trying to have them understand that.
But then on the flip side, when she's not in lawyer mode, she acts like everything's sunshine rainbows. Like,
the lunch meeting.
The lunch meeting.
Yeah, when they get together, they're like, oh, let's order lunch, and then they discuss like, and they're sitting there going, we are still on the case, right? It's like, yeah, but it's just business. It's like showing that business, when it's business, it's serious. When it's not business, hey, we're buddies, we're friends, things like that. Hey, how's it going? Things like that. And she did it such a great job. The way she was able to switch it off like that was phenomenal. She really, like I said, there are times where you took her side, but there are times when you're like, okay, she's going a little bit too far, you know? But you felt for her, or what she was trying to say or describe to Scarlett Johansson's character, you know? And to me, she really stood out the most. You know, it was just like, wow, okay, yeah, I really, you know, this is a solid. I see why she won it, especially at the Golden Globes. Why she won the award? Because I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm like, it took me a while to understand, but I'm like, now I see it.
Who was Florence Pugh in Little Women?
She played the sister that got the one you asked me going, when did they get married? Or where was the marriage or something like that?
Oh, Amy. Oh, yeah, the one I called a bitch.
Yeah, the bitch.
The bitch, yeah. Which your wife agreed with me on that.
I thought her performance was good.
The only times I liked her performance was when she wasn't acting like a spoiled brat.
I have to agree with that.
You know what? I know why she was acting like a spoiled brat and stuff like that. I really do get it. But I didn't really feel anything from her when we were in the flashbacks. Yeah. I only felt like she was somebody truly different in the present day.
And then my wife, the only problem my wife had with her is that she's supposed to be the youngest of the group, the youngest one, and even she's like, she doesn't look the part. She doesn't look like she's playing that young part. I'm like, yeah, but there's some parts where she does act childish. Yeah. She really does act childish, but even that, I guess that was one of her issues. You know, she got over it, but she actually did enjoy her performance overall. When she became very serious, later, we see where she was at. It's like we saw where she's at, and how it's like, okay, now she's acting more adult-like. But it was difficult to see even then. But I have to admit, though, like I said, for me, her performance was all right. There are times when it's like you said, it's like there are times when she sold it really well, but it's like there's a bunch of moments where it was just like, oh, okay, that's just She didn't really sell it the way you know what she's trying to do, but she doesn't really sell it on it overall.
Yeah.
But like I said, I mean, it was all right.
And I'm looking right now, and ironically, it's between a movie I haven't seen, a movie I have seen. So right now, the odds right now from reading online are like Kathy Bates, which she's an amazing actress.
Yeah.
And Laura Dern, pretty much, because like I said, she played an amazing lawyer.
Oh yeah.
She played it so well.
And Margot Robbie's role in Bombshell was good.
Tell me about this, because like I said, I haven't seen Bombshell.
To me, it was good. To me,
in your opinion, what stood out in Margot Robbie's performance in Bombshell?
What really stood out for me is just her innocence, where it's like she's this up and coming news reporter. She's like, her family was always watching Fox News. It's like Fox is their life and things like that. So she's always entrusting with them and things like that. She's really doing whatever it takes, to get up there. But then when it's like, when she's finally, behind the doors of what's really going on, or what's being, these allegations.
Right.
It's like her innocence starts to come out, and she really displays of like, she wants to tell somebody, but she's afraid. She's like, she doesn't want to be barred. She doesn't want to be accused. She doesn't want to make it look like she's the bad guy or bad girl, in this situation. And I really, like I said, really stood out for me is just when she really broke down, where she's just like, she's outside and she calls up Kate McKinnon character.
Yeah.
She finally breaks down to her, going, telling her what happened. It's like she doesn't know what to do. It's her last reign of resort, because it's like that's the closest friend she has right now at the workplace is her, and she really broke it down really well. But that was like the only really solid scene to me, honestly, that really stood out for me for her character, was that moment where she was a broken person. It's like, I felt abused. I felt, very harmed, but to me, it wasn't really that strong. It was like that was the only strong moment throughout in the whole film. That's why I said, I haven't seen Kathy Bates in her.
But
role.
it's Kathy Bates being Kathy Bates.
Yeah, she's playing. I believe she's playing the mother of Richard Jewell.
Yeah.
She's playing the motherly role where she's just trying to watch out for her son and try to do, be supportive.
Yeah.
Like I said, we haven't seen the film. That's the one film we haven't seen yet. I have it, but I haven't watched it. I'll probably watch it later on, and maybe it may sway my decision. But as of right now, it's still Laura Dern. Laura Dern, in my opinion, is like she sold it throughout the film. Whenever her part came up, she freaking sold it. She really sold that lawyer of, that person that's just that type of person that's just,
like
she can be supportive when she wants to, but then she can be manipulative or really pushy when she needs to be.
Like when a good scene with her is not even just a luncheon scene, but there was the scene where she first meets Scarlett Johansson's character. When she sits down with them and she's sympathizing and she's listening and understanding. You got that side, but then when it comes to fighting for her, she just throws Adam Driver's characters so far under the bus. You think
she knew how to turn that switch of bitch mode on.
Yeah, so I think we're both in agreement. If we saw Richard Jewell, I think our opinion probably would have changed. But right now, our top contenders, in our opinion, is definitely going to be Laura Dern for Marriage Story.
For me, that's my pick. It is Laura Dern for the win for this one. I believe she deserves it. I mean, I say why she won. She won it for the Golden Globe.
She did win. I was about to ask you that.
She won it for the
Golden
Globe.
I should be asking you that more often right now.
I did watch the Golden Globe. He didn't. I did. But like I said, she did win. I see why. Because I looked deeper into her character. I'm like, shit. She really just knows how to switch it on, switch it off. She really does know how to play that character in that role for this freaking to play a lawyer, a divorced lawyer who's in the middle of this and things like that.
Yeah, I'd be happy if either Laura or Kathy won this.
I think so too. I think for me it's either one of those two.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, let's go on to the next category.
So next up is
next category we have is actor in a supporting role,
and the nominees are
Tom Hanks, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Anthony Hopkins, The Two Popes.
Al Pacino, The Irishman.
Joe Pesci, The Irishman.
And Brad Pitt, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Now, has Brad Pitt ever won an Academy Award?
I have to look it up. I don't think. I think this would be his first win.
Because luckily for me, I have seen all but Two Popes. But it's Anthony Hopkins. I already know he did a great job. It's Anthony fucking Hopkins.
It's Anthony Hopkins. He always. It just depends on who's gonna really sell it.
Man, it is really hard to think about why I shouldn't pick Tom Hanks. Because technically he's playing Mr. Rogers. And if I don't pick Mr. Rogers, does that mean I'm going to hell? In turn.
It's a beautiful day in his neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly. And okay, you gotta help me out here, because fucking Pacino did a great job on Irishman. Fucking Pesci coming back from being, I guess, semi-retired, doing a great job.
He won, but it was more of a producing type of situation for Best Picture, because I know he was producer on 3 of these films. Moneyball, 12 Years a Slave. Yeah, he won for 12 Years a Slave because he was a producer on it.
Okay, so
this is his first. This would be his first nomination as he's been nominated before, but this would
be his second nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Yeah,
for Best Supporting Actor, but this would be his first win.
If he wins it.
Win in an acting position for an Academy Award.
This is difficult because you have Joe Pesci fucking nominated, Al
Yeah.
Pacino fucking nominated. It's like, oh, who's who of Hollywood is in this best supporting actor?
It's a difficult choice. It's difficult, but I've already made my decision on who I think should win.
Already?
I mean, we can go over we can go over the others if you want to.
Because I'm still doing my bit of my research here. Because
this is one where he hasn't seen the two popes.
Because in my opinion, it's between Tom Hanks and Brad Pitt. But go on.
Yeah.
So explain yours, and I'll explain why for mine.
Well, my pick overall, my main pick, which I think it was so very easy, which was it's Brad Pitt. And the reason I say Brad Pitt, and it's just that he
looks better than you.
Besides that, he really was this type of guy he's a stunt guy, but he's just it's like he's not that perfect. He's not a perfect guy. He's not a perfect guy. He has his problems, and he doesn't try to be either. Yeah, and he's
like he took on Bruce Lee in the backlot.
Yeah, which actually, believe it or not, actually happened. Something like, but not with these two people specifically, but just actually happened. But they added that into the story. But to me, he really sells that he is a broken man. He's not that perfect, but he really sells that he's a good friend. He's a supportive friend for Leo's character, Rick Dalton. He's a very supportive character. He's trying to be there for him as a good friend because he knows that his friend's going through a struggling time. So he's trying to be there for him, trying to be supportive, trying to do whatever it takes to protect him. But at the same time, still trying to get back into the business. Okay. And he really sells it to where it's like he's not great. He's not perfect. He's not but he sells it though. He sells that as if he's this badass. He's like I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, but he still has his flaws.
Now, Golden Globes wise, because I know best comedy and best drama are two separate categories. Who won for best supporting actor in a comedy?
Brad Pitt.
Who won for best actor in a best supporting actor in a drama? Because it's gonna be between those two. I'm gonna be fully honest. My heart says Tom Hanks, but my brain says Brad Pitt. Because you look it up. I'm gonna talk about why Tom Hanks did an amazing Mr. Rogers, and it's technically kind of related to him too, apparently according to Ancestry.
Yeah, like a very deep ancestry.
Tom Hanks is Hollywood's favorite uncle, favorite relative, the one you want to go and visit, the one who doesn't exactly give you presents, but always gives great advice or gives you. He's great at that. He really is. Then put him into the Mr. Rogers role. Mr. Rogers being one of the greatest children's performers of all time, and you easily get a recipe for success. Yeah. And that's what you got in Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Yes, the big thing about the Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood is it's technically not Mr. Rogers' story. It's technically the writer of his article's story. But what we get from Tom Hanks in this role is absolutely spectacular. The way Mr. Rogers talks, the way he acts, the way he performs, every little detail about Mr. Rogers is done really well in this film. I mean, absolutely amazing stuff. The way he talks to the writer, the way he portrays, what was it, Lionel? I forgot his puppet's name. The way he portrays his puppets, the way he talks, just the way he feels about everything is conveyed so amazingly.
No, it was just overall pretty much for Best Supporting Actor. And it's the same nominations we see here, it's the same nominations we see for the Academy Awards, and he won. Tom Hanks, Anthony Hopkins, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci.
Okay, sorry. But, I mean, Tom Hanks just does an amazing job. If I had to choose the best thing about this film, it's easily Tom Hanks, man. He does such a great job as Mr. Rogers. It's just so sad that you're never going to get Mr. Rogers' biopic. And I feel like we're never going to get one. And
this is the closest we're going to get to one.
And I can understand why, because Mr. Rogers, it wasn't about him. It was always about teaching the future a lesson.
Again, if you haven't heard us before, watch the documentary.
Really watch. Like, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood deserves a double feature with Won't You Be My Neighbor documentary. Because then you can see what we mean. Because we saw that, and then we eventually saw that, and it's just amazing.
He really knew how to sell his innocence, pretty much. That's what it was.
Yeah,
I mean, I mean, a lot of people said, "Oh, he doesn't really act. He doesn't sound like him." I'm like, yeah, but that's not that we're trying to portray here. We're trying to portray the man himself or what he was.
Now, if any of the ones we didn't mention win, we're fine because look who's fucking nominated. So who's who of fucking Hollywood actors nominated?
I mean, we could even look at the Irishman, the ones pretty much.
Al Pacino did fucking great.
He did a fucking great job. That was Al Pacino being Al fucking Pacino.
Then you got Joe Pesci, and Joe Pesci. The best thing about Joe Pesci in the role was he wasn't acting like Goodfellas Joe Pesci. He was acting like a guy who went through all that shit and just knows.
Yeah, he just knows. He had that look of it, like he knows what's gonna happen.
Like he didn't even really yell at all in the film.
Yeah, he didn't curse or he was throughout the whole film. That's what I loved about his character is that he was so calm throughout the film. Where it's like when he brought up talking to somebody, it's like he talked to them at their same level.
Okay.
He talked to them.
And then how was Al Pacino? Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins did a good job.
It's Anthony Hopkins just being
Anthony Hopkins being Anthony Hopkins. I think what the hardest part is that you're just he's trying to display this character that a lot of people don't really know about. And it's like we're getting more of because to me it was more focused on Jonathan Pryce's character, which of course since he's the lead, he is the person we're kind of following in a way. But it's like his character though is just. To me, it was good. It was like you said, it was Anthony Hopkins being Anthony Hopkins, and he did a great job. But it's just to me, he didn't really sell it too much. I mean, it wasn't that much. It's like it wasn't as great as what we got from Tom Hanks or Al Pacino or even Joe Pesci or even Brad Pitt. To him, it was more of a laid back, good performance for Anthony Hopkins. Again, it's like you have all these top contenders. Every one of these guys. I think each one of them. I don't even know. I think they've kind of won like an Oscar award if I'm correct at some point. I mean,
so in the long run for me, I'm gonna go now. Like I said, my heart says Tom Hanks, but on predictions for me, I always have to think of my mind. I think it's going to be Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I think it's gonna.
I think Brad Pitt, not because he got won a Golden Globe. That's been different. That's changed. Where sometimes, they won that. They're definitely gonna win.
I think for me, a dark horse, a black sheep, literally just one that will come out of nowhere, and I would literally just put my stuff down and give him a standing ovation. Would be Joe Pesci.
Oh hell yeah!
I would be because it's like again, like we stated before, it's like this man was retired from acting, and they pulled him out of retirement to play this role. And he delivered.
I would do the same, but for Tom Hanks. Because, just, like I said, his portrayal was so amazing. I would be, like I said, in the long run, I'd be fine with any of these people being nominated. Because it's literally a who's who of Hollywood over the last 2 to 3 decades, you know? It's a who's who there. So, far be it for me, if Tom Hanks doesn't win, if Al Pacino wins, I'm fine. If Joe Pesci wins, I'm fine with that. If it's like, I'm fine with anybody winning in this category. But if I had to choose, my mind says Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
But my heart will love it if Tom Hanks won.
So your heart is for Tom Hanks, which I respect him. I do. I love his role. But for me, my heart would go to Joe. Like I said, Joe Pesci. Like I said, his performance was just phenomenal. I loved it. I mean, he just did an amazing job. Even if Al Pacino wins, I'll still be happy. But for me, it's like Joe Pesci because this is a man that came out of fucking retirement, and he delivered a performance of a lifetime. And I loved it. I just loved it. But like I said, I think Brad Pitt really helped sell what needed to be sold in Once Upon a Time.
So we're both in agreement. Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
In Hollywood.
In Hollywood. Yeah. Had a little brief pause. So
on to the next category.
Yeah, on the next category.
So
next up for our nominations, the next category is actor in a leading role.
Yes, and the nominees are Antonio Banderas, Pain and Glory.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Adam Driver, Marriage Story.
Joaquin Phoenix, Joker.
Jonathan Pryce, The Two Popes.
Yeah, this one. So
it's pretty obvious.
It's obvious.
It's between Adam Driver and Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, everyone's saying it's between those two. It's between Adam Driver and Joaquin Phoenix. They both delivered their role 100%, and you could tell, like you said, that scene alone in Marriage Story, where he breaks down, you feel that, like you said, you feel that raw emotion that's coming out. You feel that power, like what his suffering and what he's going through. You feel that the emotions just pouring out of him.
Now, who won for this category at the Golden Globes?
Of course, Joaquin Phoenix.
So we got Joaquin Phoenix.
He's been sweeping the award ceremonies with...
Is it sad I got another heart and mind thing? Because my heart says Adam Driver, my mind says Joaquin Phoenix, man. Because my heart says, okay, so let's not focus on them. Let's focus on
the others. All of them, I've seen them all.
I haven't seen Pain and Glory or The Two Popes.
I've seen them all. Antonio Banderas in Pain and Glory, I still recommend you watching. He is phenomenal. He really brings out this character, this director that's suffering so much that he's a director that's just trying to live life, and it's just difficult for him. He's had a rough life, and we keep going back and forth to his childhood, remembering certain things, but it's like he has no purpose anymore for why he wants to move on anymore. It's like, why? And he really delivers that suffering, just that something that where it's like, I've been through so much to get to where I'm at. I really want to, it's like, I don't know what to do next. I really don't know where I want to go. I want to stay away from maybe certain things, or I want to stray away from directing and stuff like that. But it's like, he really sells it. And Antonio Banderas, his nomination for this, I thought it was an honor. I'm like, he deserved this nomination because he did a phenomenal job in Pain and Glory. And like I said, if you haven't seen it, please definitely check it out. He did a great job. It is a foreign language film, but he still does a great job.
Leonardo DiCaprio is playing an actor who needs to get his shit together, who wants to get his shit together, who's an amazing actor himself, but he's so in his own head, he's kicking his own ass.
Yeah, and what I like about him too is that if you notice throughout maybe certain scenes, he stutters a little bit. He tries to give his character a little bit of a flaw every now and then. If you watch it, it's in very good detail. Because even I notice, I'm like, I like how he's doing. He's giving like a slight stutter, like a something where it's like he's not perfect, but he's still unique in a way. And he really sells of like somebody just trying to move away from television. He's trying to move on to film. He's trying to get noticed and things like that. And he does a great job, delivering it. And I thought he did a phenomenal job, just showing that performance.
Okay, you're gonna talk about Jonathan Pryce, because once again, didn't see Two Popes.
Jonathan Pryce did a good job. He really did a good job.
Who did he play?
He played
a pope.
Yes, he played the next pope. One, after Anthony Hopkins resigned, he was the following one. He was the following one, and to me, he did a good job. He did a great job. He delivered what the character was trying to deliver of, this is who I am. I don't deserve this role. I don't deserve where I'm, he was really bad. He really showed the battle between him and not like a physical battle, more of a verbal battle of just like why things need to be changed, why it needs to be altered to go with the times. And he did a great job delivering it. I mean, there are times when you could tell, because even my wife knows, when he's trying to speak when he's trying to speak Italian or something like that, you could tell that's not really him speaking that language. You could tell somebody's dubbing over him, trying to speak it while they cut away from the camera. There are times when you see that, but I thought he did a good job. He really delivered a solid performance, and just being nominated for him, he did a great job.
So my heart, sadly, I'm going with my mind, like I said. So I'm going with Joaquin Phoenix for Joker.
Yeah, like we said with Adam Driver, he sold it. He really sold what it's like to be this type of father figure trying to fight for his family, trying to fight, like he said in the film, he's like, I want to show my son that I am a fighter. I did not give up. And he showed it here, and he did a phenomenal job. And that, like I said, that one scene sold it.
Like I said, my heart says Adam Driver, but my head says Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix,
and this will be interesting too, because then if he wins, people who've played the Joker will have won for Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor.
That's very true.
Was Heath Ledger Best Supporting Actor?
He was the Best Supporting Actor.
Oh God, remember that was the year fucking Downey Jr. got nominated for his role in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would not flew, but that would not flew nowadays.
But no, I think it's an easy pick to say for Joaquin Phoenix, only because, like you said, he literally dove into that role. He put himself into. He's a method actor. He pretty much studies and looks into this.
He's legit admitted he nearly went insane losing all the weight for his role.
Yeah, to lose all his weight, he almost lost his mind. And even people with this actual condition even said, he sells it exactly what we go through. The excessive laughing and things like that. It's like, that's what we actually go through. He sells it perfectly. He dives into somebody who needs mental help, but nobody's helping him. And he just loses it. And he does a great job slowly transitioning into this character that, of course, that we all know and love pretty much as this villain, and he does it beautifully. And he just, to me, it's like hands down. I mean, even if he doesn't win, like you said, the follow up will most likely be Adam Driver. And if he wins, I give props to Adam Driver because, like you said, after watching his role in Marriage Story, he did phenomenal. And like I said, Joker, it's just Joaquin Phoenix. What can I say? That man is a genius when it comes to delivering this role. And like I said, that's both our picks is Joaquin Phoenix for actor in a leading role.
See you next time.
So let's go into the next category. All right. So our next category, as you can tell, is for actress in a leading role.
The nominees are Cynthia Erivo, Harriet,
Scarlett Johansson, Marriage Story,
Saoirse Ronan, Little Women,
yes. Charlize Theron, Bombshell,
Renee Zellweger, Judy.
Yeah.
So easily, it's like with the actress, it's between two. It's ironically between Scarlett Johansson and Renee Zellweger for Judy.
To me, it's down to one, just like for the actor.
You're going Zellweger?
Yeah. I
didn't see Judy.
He hasn't seen Judy, Bombshell, or Harriet. He's only seen Little Women and Marriage Story. I actually just recently. Let me start from the top. I've seen Harriet a lot. I watched it the other night, and I see why she got nominated, and she did a great job. She delivered it really well, selling it and things like that. It wasn't too strong of a performance, but it was still good enough to get nominated, and I enjoyed it. She did a great job delivering this iconic character into pretty much onto the big screen, telling her story, and she did a good job. She did an amazing job. I wish there was more actresses like her nominated, but like I said, she did. To me, I see why she got nominated, and she did good. She did a good job. I have to admit, I enjoyed the movie, and her part in it was a solid performance. That's what I have to say on that. You wanted to do the Marriage Story one with Scarlett?
It's pretty much what I said about Adam Driver's performance, which was like just a human being just trying to like worry about more. I mean, in her case, she was just worrying more about taking care of her kid than anything else, and it just sucked for her that she had to go through so much, only to be like going through this whole situation with her now ex-husband.
Yeah. So I mean, she did a great job as well. It's like I think she was up there.
And once again, the scene we're talking, the one scene
where they break down, literally just that to me, that scene pretty much embodies what the film is representing. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's personally what they're going through. Little Women. Saoirse Ronan, she did a good job. I gotta admit, she really had a strong performance in this. Of course, my wife, she has. I think with anybody who reads books, they envision what they see in their character or see on the screen, and she didn't really see her only because she's like, she doesn't have blonde hair. She has this color hair. I'm like, let's just watch the film. Let's see the film, and she enjoyed the film. She liked how they did it. And like I said, I thought she had a solid performance. She really did good. selling that woman that who has that independence, who wants to wants to be her own woman, doesn't want to have to follow these rules and regulations that women nowadays they back in the day had to follow. And she had that strong performance. She really sold it, especially after, if you haven't seen Lady Bird, which was another good one she did. This really helps her even more even then. And she did a phenomenal performance. She had a great, solid, good performance there. Bombshell. I know I watched that. Charlize Theron. Golly, you couldn't even recognize her. Like we said in the trailer, even my wife was sitting there going, "How much makeup is she wearing? You can't even recognize her." Yeah. I'm like, I know, right? That's what we said, you know? But she delivered it phenomenally. She did a great job delivering this person who's trying to get the truth out. Just like any type of journalist, is trying to get the truth out and just doing whatever it takes. But then things start to come up with allegations where it's like she has to make that drastic choice, and she does a great job. She sold the performance. She delivered it phenomenally, and just that's why there are times I'm like, wait a minute, who's nominated again? Because you also had was it Nicole Kidman up there as well in the film, and I thought, okay, maybe she's nominated. It's like, no, only Margot Robbie and Charlize Theron. I'm like, oh, okay. But I love Charlize Theron's performance. She had a good job. She did great. She was fantastic in it overall. Now, the reason I chose myself Renee Zellweger, because I watched Judy, and to me, just like Joaquin Phoenix, when he dived into the role for the Joker, she did that very well with Judy. She embodied this woman to perfection. To her mannerisms, to the way she talks, the way she was. Because I've seen footage of Judy Garland back in the day around that time, and she was like that. She sold it. She literally delivered it. I mean, once you see it, you see what I mean. Where it's like you really felt her anguish. She felt what she was going through to do whatever it took to protect her kids, but also she wanted to get back on top. She really wanted to do whatever it took, but it took so much stress out of her because of her past and how she was brought up. And you really felt it. Renee Zellweger, I see why she won it at the Golden Globes. She won it for that. I just thought she delivered it. She gave her performance of a lifetime in this role, and I think she's gonna take this Oscar. Who we can? She's gonna take this.
So once again, like with the actor, it's a heart and mind thing for me. So my heart says Scarlett Johansson, but my head says Renee Zellweger because she's the odds-on right now.
So is that what you're gonna go with? Judy.
Yeah, Judy.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm going for Judy as well. That's what I have here. You said, who's the other one again? Was Scarlett?
For Marriage Story.
Oh, for Marriage Story?
Yeah.
So even then, like I said, I think, to be honest, I think if I had to choose for two of them, I think it would be between Scarlett and Renee. Because Scarlett, like you said, Scarlett really, she delivered that role. She really delivered that type of like woman who's dealing with something like this. Mm-hmm. So even if she does win too, props to her. Yeah, so that's our, like I said, that's our pretty much decision on that for the actress. So let's go on to the next one, which is going to be our next. It's going to be a next difficult one. So let's dive right down to this. All right, so as you can tell, our next category will be in directing.
Yes. So the nominees are
The Irishman.
Oh yeah, that's Martin Scorsese.
Joker.
That's Todd Phillips. Thank you.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Quentin Tarantino.
And Parasite.
Did you miss one? I swear you missed one.
Oh, 1917.
Sam Mendes.
And then Parasite.
Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah, this one I really don't know. It's very difficult.
Let's be honest. Everybody in this category, I don't know, debatable on Joker, but everybody in this category probably deserves to win. But
it's difficult only because at the Golden Globes,
Joon-ho won.
Yeah, he won. But still, it's like, it's very difficult. It really is.
Because this really determines whether or not, that who we're gonna say
Yeah,
wins
usually,
for
if
Best
I'm
Picture.
correct, yeah, that's right. Usually, whoever wins Best Director means Best Picture.
There's odds that they may win Best Picture.
Yeah.
It's really difficult because all of them are really good directors.
To me, to me, I think I have it between 1917 and Once Upon a Time. That's why I have it right now between.
Because this is gonna be, it's also really gonna determine Best Picture. Because
this determines who's gonna win Best Picture, and I have it between them two. I have it between those two. Like I said, for Joker, that's just like I said, he did a good job, but I don't think he did that phenomenal of a great job,
Todd Phillips?
For Todd Phillips,
Okay.
where it's like he did a good job, where it's like I see why he got nominated, and I'm like, okay, I understand that, but I think he's at the bottom of the totem pole here for the nominees.
Right.
He's at the very bottom. Because he did a good job adapting it, but it wasn't too. I have to admit, it wasn't too original. Since a lot of people are like, oh, it's this is they're taking this adaptation from like the King comedy. That's where they're taking this from a bit. So it's like nothing too original, but he still did a great job. Delivering this performance or this character in a darker tone, but just the route he took it. I mean, so
yeah.
I think that's why he got nominated for the Academy Award. The Irishman. I thought he did a good job. I think it's one of his masterpieces for filmmaking.
Yeah.
To me, for Martin Scorsese. To me, he did a good job. He really put together a phenomenal cast. He put together a great film. Which, I mean, yeah, it's a lengthy film, but I freaking loved it. I really enjoyed it. I really, if you're a fan of these type of mob films or these type of films that it's like, dealing with gangsters and things like that, I think you would enjoy it. You can interrupt me at any time you want.
I don't got anything really. They all deserve it, to be honest. Maybe except for Todd Phillips, but like,
And Parasite, I see why he may have won it at the Golden Globes. But here again, like you said, if they win for directing, it's like it's a high possibility they win for Best Picture as well. And he did a good job putting together the story that he always puts a great theme behind it, and he does a great job telling this theme. And like I said, I don't know. Like I said, I don't think he for Oscar. I think this being nominated, that's just great enough to be nominated in this category. But again, I have it between 1917 and Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
I have it between those two because 1917, just because of the technical output, everything he put together to put together this film and how he wanted it to be shot, was just his vision. It was wonderful. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it overall. It's difficult. And Once Upon a Time, again, it's one of those where, he came up with the story. He put this story, his idea together of telling this fairy tale of Hollywood that everybody used to know of, type of thing. And like I said, it's stuck between those two.
Which ones?
Like I said, 1917 and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, it's definitely between the last three here, the nominated, definitely. And it's really difficult because I thought 1917 was a really good film, and the director knew what he was doing with that film. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Tarantino clearly knew what story he wanted to tell, and it came out admirably. Parasite, if you've seen Snowpiercer, you know the direction.
And he always has some type of theme going along within his films, and they're solid good themes too.
Yeah.
But
I would say it's really difficult, but I would say 1917 for me. Just really good film overall. He brought what was supposed to be a simple story of just getting to the other side of a war, and brought so much out of it in the long run. And that was the story he wanted to tell. He didn't try to tell anything extra or additional. It was just the tale. And by the time the tale was over, you didn't need anything else.
Yeah.
You got exactly what you wanted.
You got what you wanted by the end of it.
Now with Tarantino, though, he made you want to clamoring for more of this world, of this environment.
And
he is working on something
like a spin-off type
spin-off of sorts.
A fun little spin-off of Leo.
So, and it's Tarantino, and he usually can deliver when it comes to these awards, to his films.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really difficult. It really is. It's between 1917 and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So,
it's hard. I mean, you gotta realize they both brought, these three directors really brought their A game 100% in this, and wow, it's just trying to decide here. You're just sitting here trying to figure out what's it gonna take to see what's the decision overall for this. I mean,
yeah. So let me see.
Yeah, it's difficult.
I think I'm gonna go with Sam Mendes. I feel like he's the underdog, and I'm gonna go with the underdog with this one.
You go with the underdog on this
for
one?
1917. Cause
I don't know. Like you said, it's just
I believe this is his first time being nominated for an Academy Award. So and we already know he's done an amazing job with some of the James Bond flicks he's worked on.
Yeah.
So we know full well this guy definitely deserves the recognition for telling a story, the story he told that was based off of stories he heard from his grandfather from the war.
Yeah, he's going off of like stories that have ever.
So mine's gonna be Sam Mendes for 1917.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still trying to decide. I mean, it's just trying to figure out where do. It's like they're both equally like on my list of like let's see something here type of thing, so trying to.
I know it's difficult.
No, this would be his second. He won for Best Director for American Beauty.
He did American Beauty?
He did American Beauty. He won.
Oh. Well, I think he deserves the win still, regardless of what I think.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, you're sitting here and you're trying to decide and you're trying to see, what stands out the most, and just, it's really difficult to decide. I mean, you have both directors that really put up what they wanted people to see, what they envisioned, and things like that. I'm gonna go with Once Upon a Time.
You're gonna go Quentin Tarantino?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with my gut. My gut's telling me it's gonna be Once Upon a Time, only because, I mean, Quentin Tarantino, he brought up something that he envisioned, pretty much the story he had, what he brought, and he delivered. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm gonna go with Quentin Tarantino. Like I said, to me, he delivered pretty much what he envisioned, what he wanted overall for this. And I that's what I'm gonna go with. I mean, it's so fucking difficult.
I know
it's difficult.
It feels like this year deserve it.
Last year, I don't know. Last year didn't really feel too difficult. This year feels much more difficult than last year. Last year was a bit easier on certain categories. This year, I only say him only because I think 1917 is gonna win a lot with a lot on technical awards. I think that's what I'm going off of. Is that it's going off of technical awards, and that's what it's gonna be played off as. But yeah, that's who we think. That's who our picks are for directing. Him with Sam Mendes for 1917, and for me, Quentin Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So let's go on to our last one, our biggest one. So let's dive right into this.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're diving into Best Motion Picture.
Yes.
So let's dive into this. For the first nominee, Ford versus Ferrari,
The Irishman,
Jojo Rabbit,
Joker,
Little Women,
Marriage Story,
1917,
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
and Parasite.
So let's go with we're ending with the most difficult category of them all. Now, I'm looking online. Apparently, the odds-on favorites are 3 films.
Yeah.
And they're the last 3 films on this list, which
1917.
is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and
Parasite.
Parasite. Now, I've already said what I need to say about Parasite.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good film. I don't think it was as amazing as everybody was saying it was.
Yeah.
It's a really good, really unique take on looking at class, different classes in society. Then we got Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, pretty much a love letter to late 60s Hollywood.
Yeah.
Which did an admirable job of its performances. It's like, it's amazing. Tarantino just being Tarantino all over this film.
Yeah.
Funny moments, occasional drag moments, surprisingly enough, but just a fun ride throughout. Like, I already told you, if it wasn't for Avengers Endgame, I would say Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was my favorite film of 2019.
Yeah. I want to bring up one nomination here.
And
I mean, we could go into Parasite and then we'll go on to what I want to say.
Oh no, I was going to say, last thing I was going to say about 1917 was, it was a very, 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 very well done war film, told in a unique style.
You already talked about Parasite.
It was,
right?
yeah, I already talked about Parasite. It was a simple story told right.
Yeah.
It didn't need over theatrics or anything like that. And what it showed you, what visually showed you from a technical standpoint, what it did, it gave you a story that you're kind of surprised by the end of it was only like roughly a day and a half for this man.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the one honoree that I wanna mention that we haven't mentioned in any of our nominees, because a lot of it is more on the technical side of things, and that's Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh yes.
I think when it comes to the nominations, I think it's gonna be for technical awards. It's gonna be between 1917 and Ford versus Ferrari. I think because a lot of it deals with both of them dealing with sound, visuals, and everything. Because they both brought it tremendously when it came to technical aspects of showing the film, delivering the film that we want. I just had to put that out there because I really enjoyed Ford vs. Ferrari, even though the accuracy of the historical moments are altered just because, of course, telling the story, but just the scenes alone for the racing scenes were phenomenal. They did a beautiful job on
Now, you told me for Golden Globes, Best Comedy went to Once Upon a Time. What won for Best Drama? Was it 1917?
I believe so. Let me look at this up here.
Yeah, because all these films were really good this year. I mean, my weakest of the films I watched from Best Picture was Little Women, because personally, I felt like, I don't know, it was missing some story beats for me. I get it was a unique adaptation of the Little Women book. The thing is, it's my first time ever seeing or reading anything.
Yeah, I think it's
related to Little
between
Women.
1917 and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because musical comedy, it won for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but most for drama was 1917. So it's
And
between
now,
those two.
there's big.
I think the underdog
is Joker. For me, it's Joker.
Yeah.
Because there is split thoughts about Joker. It was either
that's literally this is the dark horse where it could come out of nowhere.
It was either one of the best films of 2019 or the most decisive film of 2019, because you either really enjoyed where they went with it or you didn't really like where they went with it. You know, and a lot of that wasn't to do. Ironically, a lot of it had nothing to do with the controversy. Well, what people thought were the controversies around it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's difficult to say because a lot of these films are really good, and like Marriage Story, it's just an amazing film that dives into just rough side of divorce. Jojo Rabbit's a great coming of age story told during the World War.
Yeah.
Ford vs. Ferrari is a solid, one of the best solid biopics in this list, next to The Irishman, which was another phenomenally well done film.
Yeah.
It's really difficult because all these truly in their own way, shape, or form deserve it. But if I had to choose one to win it, this is really difficult for me.
It's hard.
Because my heart, remember my heart-mind thing. My heart says Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but my head says 1917.
Yeah.
Because that was such a well-done film. Such an amazingly well-done film. And feel like it's rumbling around my head. Like, I enjoyed Joker. Once Upon a Time was absolutely amazing. I thought 1917 was such an amazing, solid, well done war film.
Yeah.
Parasite, like I said, I wasn't as big a fan about with Parasite. I really wasn't, and it sucked too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, the film didn't suck, and it sucks too that I have to
sucks.
make this decision.
Yeah. Man. Who are you going with? What's your decision?
I'm gonna kick my ass later for this, cause like a lot of these deserve it, but
they all deserve. This I think the recognition is good enough. At least to me, that's what it is.
I'm going with 1917. It sucks because I think it still has a chance of winning. Odds are saying 1917. I'm going with 1917.
I'm going with 1917 as well.
I would be happy if Once Upon a Time won, but
I think it's gonna be 1917 because. Again, you look at a lot of war films as well. Look how many war films have won like in Best Picture, Best Motion Picture, because of like how they deliver the technical aspects as well, but just how it was shot. The performances and everything really sold it. And I think, like I said, if it's not gonna be 1917, I think it's gonna be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think it's be between those two. Those are the two.
I would be surprised if Parasite wins because it's gotten all the accolades.
And we've never had. We never had an international film.
No, last year was Roma. Last year Roma was.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
And even here for internet, they changed it. Now it's Best International Feature Film.
Yeah, not foreign film, but international film.
Parasite's also nominated in that category as well. Which I think, quick little prediction, I think that Parasite's easily going to win that one.
Yeah, I think so too. It's just.
But 1917 for me, honestly. I mean, history could be made, and Parasite could win for both international and Best Picture. I mean, I don't think that's ever happened before. So.
Yeah, but I mean, I see where you're going there, but yeah, I mean, those are these are like I said, we grabbed these main ones only because these are like the essential awards to be looking at, the ones that everyone is at the edge of their seat to see. Who's gonna take this award?
They'll be able on visual effects.
Yeah, that too. But I mean, that's why we grabbed these handful. Most likely at the end of this video, maybe I don't know. I'll leave it up to him of what I may do or not. We may just put our list of our picks, so you can see what we picked for the rest of the categories, and then from there. For those who don't really know what we usually do during the Academy Awards is that we keep track. We track, between me and him to see, okay, who got, which category, who got what right. I think last year I took the win.
I don't remember.
No, I remember. It was last year. I know last year I took the win. I think it was because of like one category that if you would have won it, he would have kept up with me at least. It would have probably been a tie or it would have been by one. But I think it was one that threw you off, and just pretty much I won by like 2 awards, if I'm correct. But we normally after each winner, he usually, if I'm correct, he usually posts up like, okay, he got this, or this is the score at this point right now. This is where we're at. He got, Kristen got this one, or I got this one, or Christopher got this one, and we put up our picks on Twitter. Of what pretty much who won it overall. That's if you don't watch this full video by the end of it to see if we do have our picks by the end of it. But
that's gonna do it for
that's gonna do it for our predictions for the Oscars. We really hope we love the winners. We love whoever decides. Sometimes they could be upsets, but sometimes it could be like you understand why they may have won. And this year. I think for us, like we stated, this is going to be one of the most difficult years overall for the awards because they are all phenomenal films. They brought their A games and they hit us right in the gut, and it was difficult for us to choose. So we'll have to see.
Yeah. So other than that, if you're new to the channel, you can hit the like button. If you want to talk to us more about all these Oscar predictions, not you, comment down below. If you want to share us around, share it around. And if you like it just a little more than anybody else when it comes about who's going to win that golden dude, hit the subscribe button down below and hit that bell icon as well.
Let us know what your guys' predictions are. Who do you think is going to dominate the Oscars? Do you think it's going to be Once Upon a Time. You think it's going to be 1917, Parasite, or even Joker? Who knows? We have a dark horse come out of nowhere in these categories. We never know. But let us know what you guys' thoughts are on the Oscars this year. Who do you think may win it, dominate, anything like that? And again, you can probably stay just after if we do have our picks, like literally right after we wrap up everything. We'll have our picks, at the end where you can see what we nominated for and things like that. Who our picks are, and the rest of all the other categories all together, put together. Yeah. If you know what I mean. But put down what you thought of our picks overall. Do you agree with them? Do you disagree with them? Why do you think maybe one should win over the other? But most importantly, we thank you for watching and following us on this prediction show.
So until next time, I'm Kristen.
I'm Christopher.
And this has been a very Academy Awards filled episode of SRB.
We'll see ya.
Later.
Hey guys, thanks for watching.
If you want to check out our previous reactions,
as well as our other shows,
click the playlist down below.
And if you want to check us out in the social universe,
you can check us out on Twitter,
as well as Stardust,
@SuperReactBros.